This sode would not be possible without the support of our listeners, patrons, and sponsors. If you'd like to learn more about supporting the 3-Bit Gamer Show, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/3BG. And a huge thanks goes out to our boss-level patrons, Christopher and Patrick.
Man, I'm just so happy to be here tonight.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just so tired of work. I don't like work. It's coarse and rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere. Not like here. Here, everything is soft and smooth.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but, you know, I'm happy for you.
Wait, isn't that from Star Wars?
What?
That weird-ass thing you just said. Isn't that from episode 2?
I don't know. I'm not really into Star Trek.
Wars!
All right. Chill, man. Now this is podcasting.
You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Anakin.
I was going to be Anakin.
And Aaron.
And it's not a Star Wars episode. I'm sorry, guys. I actually don't know why we're on Star Wars, but we're promptly going to get off.
We got there pre-sode. Don't know how we got there.
The only way to solve the mystery is to jump on Patreon and go listen to that pre-sode juiciness. Beep, 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 beep. Broken news, folks. All right, our news this week, as with all weeks, is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies is this amazing cookie shop here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's right in Midvale. They've got delivery through DoorDash and Uber Eats, and they also have drive-through. Oh, my God, you guys.
Guys, listen.
This is a big moment for me. Because Trent has finally, this may be the first cookie that I can directly say I had influence on. No, I did not design this cookie, but I had small influences because I've been pushing Trent. Peterson and I both have been pushing Trent to do a coffee cookie for the longest time, which if you're in Utah, you know, coffee is not going to play to all audiences. But Trent finally caved and he took my advice, which I read online. I did not come up with this. I am not a baker. But apparently you can put instant coffee crystals directly into the dough, and then it bakes, and they bake out perfectly. And it just kind of adds like a coffee flavor. So he's made, using that idea, he has made a cookie dough that is a coffee cookie dough, and then he tops it with mocha cream filling, and then Oreo. Oh, God. This thing is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And
it's a cappuccino cookie.
I've been wanting it so badly since I saw the picture all day today. I just can't stop thinking about it. I need to go get one.
And then another thing, which I have to say, Trent, I don't take this the wrong way, but maybe one of his laziest cookies yet. However, a cookie that like made Jenna just lose her freaking mind. So there is absolutely an audience for this lazy cookie in which Trent took a vanilla dough based cookie and he just stuffed it full of frosted animal cookies. Oh my God,
cookies,
you evil monster. It's a genius move. Anytime you're stuffing cookies into another cookie, it's a good idea. But animal crackers, these pink and white ones, oh my God, they taste like childhood. So everybody go to cravecookies.com if you're not in Utah, and at least you can salivate over these cookies. And then Trent can tell me on Google Analytics how many of our poor listeners came to view his cookies from out of state. Okay, so that brings us to our news. And Peterson, I put this on the doc, but I feel like this is your beat.
Yeah, because I feel like this is something that I just have so much problems with. So I've talked about it before. I have 4 Joy-Cons on my Switch. All of them have such bad drift to the point where they are unusable. All 4 of them.
Unless it's your kids playing Fortnite and they've all adjusted.
Well, yeah. Well, now they just use my Pro controller now. I don't know how they got into that, but because at first they weren't allowed to use it.
You're screwed
and
now.
Exclusively use the Pro Controller. How did they do this?
Oh my
Little
god,
wizards. So in this one, the EU has, after so many complaints, EU has called for an investigation into the Joy-Con drift. So do an investigation with potential legal ramifications for Nintendo.
Yeah, and the complaint specifically, well, they received 25,000 complaints across all of the EU member states, which seems a little low for a response, but hey,
those are just the complaints about this one thing. You got to know, most people probably don't complain. Right?
Well, and what was crazy is they said, well, you haven't formally complained anywhere, have you, Peterson? Other than on this podcast, and they don't follow this.
I thought this was.
Do you think the EU formal. Counts this one? I mean, they may.
Maybe, I don't know. EU, give me a thumbs up.
Give us, hey, will you guys drop us a line? Here's the thing: is they mentioned that 9 out of 10 of these cases happened within 2 years of getting the console, which seemed like something that was particularly offensive to these EU officials. Which it should be. They refer to it as early obsolescence, which is somehow even more offensive than planned obsolescence. When you're just like, oh, we're just going to make it so shitty right off the jump that you're going to be replacing it right away. Like,
right away.
Oh, a washing machine that goes dead in like 5 years? Fucking amateurs. What about a washing machine that explodes on the truck? Come on, guys. Why do I have to do all the fucking thinking around here? Shit. How else are we going to make quarterly profits if the washing machines don't explode the trucks themselves?
The legs are being supported by glass rods. Any slight amount of movement will completely shatter them. You have to open it up. You have to replace the rods.
There's a little vial of mercury inside. Wait, you built it like a bomb?
No. I mean, kind of. There's like, think of like a pressure cooker, right? So you got a pressure.
Oh, well, now I'm on a watch list.
Wait, do we need to investigate you guys?
So yeah, maybe this will happen. It would be really cool. The EU is leading the front on all of the gamer bullshit like microtransactions and now Joy-Con drift. So
they're not having any of it.
Mm-mm.
Man, it's
our only hope over there. Also, they don't really care for monopolies or all of our bullshit tech companies just doing whatever the hell they want. They do not do that in Europe as much. It's kind of nice. A little refreshing.
Yep.
Guys, the big news this week is that Cyberpunk 2077 has finally released the tools to make their game playable, because they have unleashed their modding, which means over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, a bunch of unpaid volunteers that are very passionate about the game will spend an ungodly amount of time fixing it.
Yeah, don't worry. We got this. We got this. Just sit aside.
And you'd better fix the biggest gripe that I had, and you'd better put robot junk options in the fucking player create.
Mm-hmm. Dude, you're getting a robot penis. Tools. It's probably already there.
To be fair, maybe I should have known and given them a break initially, because they clearly built the foundation, the scaffolding around which all of the penis mods will be built on.
Yeah, they fed it to you so easily. Mm-hmm. Also, it's weird when a game makes their own TTP super low.
Oh, this is a negative TTP.
You want to build a character? Fine. Mm-hmm. You want to? What do you want? It just zooms right in on the crotch immediately. Crotch first. Then
okay, so when Chase, our awesome friend Chase, friend of the program, straight works at DICE now. When he explained to us initially what TTP is, we haven't done a refresher on this in the longest time. Time to penis. That is a metric that game developers track casually. It almost seems to how long it takes gamers after a game is released to draw or somehow construct a penis in it.
Yep.
And I think, Peterson, you're on to something, because I wonder if you could look across all the people that have ever played Cyberpunk 2077, if any of them have ever drawn a penis in the game, because they're like, when you just start the game off and you're playing with a penis right away, like it's not as fun anymore.
Yeah, it ruins the novelty of creating a penis.
I'm not going to spend all this time shooting a penis into the wall with bullet holes. If I can just go into the player create and just see one right there, it's not even fun anymore. You've stripped away all the fun of TTP. Damn. You're right, Peterson. They ruined our favorite thing. Okay, so this is something that I'm really, 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 really excited about. And I have a lot to talk about this. IO Interactive, these are the guys behind Hitman and the Kane and Lynch franchises. They also did Freedom Fighters, which was not a franchise. It was just one game that was like kind of a cult game on I think PS2.
I own
really
it.
Like that.
I own it on. Oh no, that's Freedom Force. Never mind. I don't own it. Never mind.
I mean, it's close, but a completely different game. So, but if you look, it's got a 10 out of 10 on Steam, and 96% of Google people like it. Like, it is a beloved game, and so like they these guys were a studio that was operating as a 3-man studio when they were founded in like the 90s, and then 10 years later or so they were purchased by Square Enix and became Square Enix Europe in 2009. But in 2017 Square Enix stopped supporting them and tried to sell them, and they just bought themselves back.
Wow.
So IO Interactive, the guys that made Kane and Lynch and Hitman and Freedom Fighters, which they retain all the rights to those franchises, they're an indie studio now, as of like 3-4 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Well, here's what's crazier still is that they are going to continue being an awesome and very successful indie studio because they have secured the rights to make the next Bond game. Guys, we haven't had a Bond. We just talked about this. We just talked about we haven't had a James Bond game or like a franchise in how long? Dude, we talked about this in November. That is wild.
Yeah, this was just a couple months ago when we talked about it. Weren't you on that one, Aaron?
I don't remember.
Yeah, so the thing. Sure. So yeah, that's the coolest thing ever is they are doubling their staff. They locked down this license to make a James Bond game. They are doing it as its own standalone thing. It's not going to be based on any of the movies. I don't even know if it's going to be based on any of the books. Quite frankly, not a lot of them aged particularly well. Racist.
It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be based on anything. That's the thing about James Bond. It's just they've jumped the shark so many times. They can base it on they can do whatever they want with it, right?
And so
as long as the elements are there, it's James Bond.
And they are. And so I got this article, and I was going to break this down for you, you guys, but it honestly, I feel like I just have to read it. I don't like doing this normally, but it summed up how they secured this. Now, remember, they are technically an indie studio, so they don't have a big backing. They don't have really a huge pedigree to be getting a game like James Bond, that they haven't made a game like that in like 8 years or more, because the owner of the license, Barbara Broccoli, has like said no.
Her last name is Broccoli?
Does that really surprise you?
Yes.
Yeah. So the last James Bond game was 007 Legends in 2012.
Have you never seen like a James Bond movie?
Barbara Broccoli sounds like a character from
Dude,
like
Albert Broccoli's name is on like every fucking James Bond movie ever made.
What?
Albert Broccoli?
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
He was the film producer, and he like owned the whole thing. He owns Eon Productions. He was like the main producer of every James Bond movie ever, and you always see his name on all of the films. So his daughter, Barbara Broccoli, is the license holder for James Bond, and IO Interactive approached her with this pitch, and they'd been working on it for 2 years. And so she has the final say in this, because she, as the daughter of the guy who owned this production studio, owns the license. And according to Abrak, who was the guy with IO Interactive, Broccoli had sworn that 007 would not appear in another video game because she did not feel the previous games were, quote, worthy enough, and that it was, quote, violence for the sake of violence. At the beginning of the meeting, she had a very expressionless face, but the further into the meeting we came, she bled up. Bled up? Is that a thing? Jesus Christ. Bled up.
Sounds
and
horrible.
Fucking British people, man. She bled up and started smiling, he said. One could see that the younger members of the family lit up when they saw that that she was reacting. Our story, our background with the Hitman universe, and our vision of what Bond is in a game format went straight to the heart of Barbara Broccoli herself. You guys, if you knew who Al Broccoli is, like, you'd actually know that was a really cool thing, that they have like a full-throated support, and they are planning to double their studio size from 200 to 400 over the next couple of years as they work on this game. They're not looking at it. They're looking at it more holistically as a possible potential trilogy. If it takes off, if it does well, guys, I've been saying this. This is like a really good litmus test, because if we have an indie studio here that can take a franchise like, or a name or a license or an IP or whatever, like Bond, and knock it out of the park, man, what does that mean for other like mid-sized indie studios? Well, this is actually a huge indie studio. This is like a large indie studio. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked.
I still can't get over the name Barbara Broccoli. I'm so
still
sorry.
on the Barbara Broccoli.
Yeah, it's
It
like
sounds
an Animal
like a
Crossing
VeggieTales character or something.
VeggieTales, there you go.
Well, yeah, and her grandpa Al Broccoli. Yeah,
Dude,
no, you guys
this
are
is
right,
made
and
up.
it makes
This
me
is
so
made up.
mad how right you are.
The new Bond movie is going to take place in the VeggieTales universe, I'm pretty sure.
Swear to God, every James Bond movie starts with Albert Broccoli presents, like, huge. But I guess then it goes into like a bunch of weird music video shit with naked ladies and someone singing. Okay, so speaking of... Okay, you guys, I guess we're back on Riot Games.
We're back, baby.
We're back! So if you guys remember 100 years ago, it feels 2 years ago, in fact, Riot Games fell victim to its own Me Too thing that was going on within the studio, because it came out that female employees were routinely discriminated against, harassed, and subjected to all sorts of other sexual discriminations. And this expanded beyond, it was just general shitty behavior. You guys remember we talked about one particular executive who, by the way, is still there, guys. This guy is still there. The dude who farted on people's faces and gave them nut taps. He are you serious? Striking someone in the genitals in literally any situation is so like fucking insanely socially unacceptable to me. To do that at a workplace where people like who know you
in an office and you're an executive, that is
look,
wild.
dude, if I saw like a crazy person on the street in like a large city run up and like punch someone in the genitals and run away, I'd be like, that's the right demo for that behavior right there. But what the hell, man? Like, this is so wild, and he's still there. And so, you know, as evidenced, and why I've been harping on this, well, JD, why don't you let it go? They apologized. You've been harsh on it for 2 years, man. Riot Games just wants to make video games about chicks with huge tits, man. Come on.
No one said that, JD. Nobody said that to you. Who
You don't
uses
know.
that voice that you know?
Oh, it's...
Hey, JD.
It's JD. It's JD's Burbank, bro. Hey, I'm down here in Santa Monica with my Riot brothers, and we are making video games. All right, guys, we're here to make some video games on the beach. Yeah, pump them guns.
I don't like this anymore. See you guys later.
You guys, we knew Riot was shitty when they didn't fire Scott Gelb, the nut-tapping fart sniffer. Of course, 2 years later, they reverse course on their class action settlement claims, and they are trying to now force all of the gender discrimination plaintiffs to arbitrate out of court in private. So
I feel like that's what they tried to do initially, right?
That's what they're was a walkout, and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, kinda."
Yeah, like whatever. We
You guys want to throw the B?
And now they're back to arbitration. Oof.
Dude, I guess, look, it's not atypical of big companies to do this, but the optics are so insane.
So bad.
But the thing is that they've chosen to do this deliberately. They don't think that they're going to suffer any consequences, any meaningful pushback. So like, whatever. You guys just like go sit in a room or don't arbitrate. Just kiss my ass. You'll get nothing. Bitches. Man. So scumbag's gonna scumbag.
It all happens behind doors. We don't get to see it or hear about it.
Well, yeah, because Riot loves their NDAs.
Yeah, so I think that's the real issue is that they're trying to keep it. It doesn't look good that they're trying to keep it out of the public eye. It's already out there. If it wasn't as bad, they kind of said, you know what, we don't think it was as bad as everyone was saying it was. There's some problems, but they downplayed it. Now this is the opposite of that. If it wasn't so bad as it was made out to be, they would be okay doing it in court. But now they're taking it to arbitration where it's all behind closed doors. We don't see the details. Those don't make it out to the public. That doesn't look good.
So keep up the good work, Riot Games. You guys are crushing it. So back on the Bond news, just a quick bounce back. Apparently,
to Bond?
This is not news. I didn't know. I ended up down this rabbit hole looking into this, and I realized this is something we've known since 2008. That there was a GoldenEye 64, like the GoldenEye 007 game on the N64, was originally supposed to be ported back in 2008, which had been around its 10-year anniversary, to the Xbox Live Arcade. Which would have been huge, because that was like when Xbox Live was becoming really a big thing, and they could have tapped into that where everyone was on it with not a lot of multiplayer games and given them GoldenEye.
That would have been sweet.
But
people would have done that hard.
Oh my god! And so we've known this for like 13 years. So my bad on that. So not really news. Beep, 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 beep. Broken news, folks. So
that's going to be our new news intro now. Just you doing that sound. The news.
Broken news. But now that I've explained the whole Barbara Broccoli connection, which absolutely is the title of this episode, now you guys know that's what happened. It was a licensing thing. With the guys that own Bond, that they're like, oh, you can't just like remake that game and just sell it without contacting us. And they're like, oh shit. But that whole game has been made. Like, it was made and we knew about it. We knew it was like floating around. So a Rare senior engineer at Rare had talked about it, and like we knew a lot of details. Finally, some guy somewhere online did a full 4K walkthrough of this game. So it's like an existing game that's just like 13 years later, you can still boot up and play. And he played the whole thing. And there's a video you can watch of it. It's crazy as hell.
Wow.
So, damn. You guys are welcome for the broken news. And then some very sad, precious news.
Sad,
my
precious news.
My precious. My precious.
Another IP that we love. Lord of the Rings. The Gollum game that was announced last year. When was this announced? Time means nothing. It was announced.
It was last year, and we were so stoked about it.
The Lord of the Rings Gollum game has now been officially delayed until next year. So 2022 is when it's going to come out.
So that's Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, which were both slated for this year. Which were
What's
two
coming out this year?
That's what I'm saying, dude. It is a black hole this year. I know I say this every year, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, it actually turned out pretty okay." There's some surprises that poke up, but this year looks real dry, you guys.
It is not a deep year for large anticipated video games. There's not much out there. I mean, like JD said, there's going to be some stuff that'll be good, some some surprises, but yeah, for the most part, there's not a lot of things that are highly anticipated out there, at least for me on my radar.
You got
Maybe I'm
Halo.
wrong.
That's okay. Just keep delaying these games, you guys. I want them to come out right. There are so many games on my backlog to catch up on, and I just started playing a bunch of new ones, so take your time.
Did you say Halo?
What? I didn't. No. What?
Did
Oh,
you,
yeah,
did
Halo
you
Infinite's
jinx-
coming out.
Did you
What?
jinx Halo?
Oh, I just found a story. that
Wow,
got delayed.
well done. I'm calling it right now. The Halo game is pushed to 2022. Calling it.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Because of Aaron.
2025.
Because
2025.
100% because of Aaron.
Each time you speak, it goes up a year.
Stop saying Halo.
Oh, God. Okay, so our last story actually was shared last minute, right under the wire on Discord. One of our listeners, Skylar, shared this story. It's Stadia Watch again, folks. Google has officially shut down their internal game development studio. Is that what SG&E was? And does anyone know what that stands for?
Stadia Games
who?
and Entertainment? That's a guess. This is a full guess.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no
That's
idea.
as close. That's as close because I half-ass Googled it for about 5 minutes and couldn't turn up anything. So if you guys can turn that up, I think Peterson's guess is as good as any. But like SG&E, what are you, a fucking brokerage firm or a video game studio? Like what the fuck is that? Like everything about Google fucking sucks. Remember when they had a logo? Their slogan was "Don't be evil," and then they completely unironically got rid of it so they could start being evil. Or they were like, "It's outdated now, guys. We're clearly fucking evil. We've been
I was
price
right.
fixing ads with Facebook for the last 9 years. Of course, we're evil. We can get rid of the pretense."
I was right, by the way. Stadia Games and Entertainment. I found it.
Thank you.
Um,
So they shut this down without having. Did they even announce a game?
that's what I was going to say. I didn't even know Google
Were they working on a game? They had
Google had
150
an
people in the
internal
studio.
game studio.
150 fucking people
What are they working on? What are they making?
getting their fucking resume. That's what. Getting a new job. Not gonna work here anymore.
Not gonna work here anymore.
Jesus, dude. I can't. But to be fair, those 150 people knew exactly what they were getting into. Like, don't go work at Google on a new fancy product if you're not planning to get fired literally at any moment for any reason.
Hey man, they
So-
probably just got the job thinking, hey, this is just going to be easy cash. I'm not going to have to do anything all day, every day, and they're going to pay me for it. So
You're not wrong.
why not?
And I'll get
Yeah.
Google on my resume. Like, no,
Yeah.
that is
an
absolutely true.
correct. Yeah, Aaron
Yep.
nailed it. That's what happened.
It's genius.
They just go to work and just eat pizza all day for lunch,
Play
and
video games.
Not
walk
on
around the
Stadia,
campus.
but they'll play
Oh.
video games.
My God.
Dude.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head. Because I don't know what they were working on. None of the stories I read said what they were working on. I didn't even know they had a game studio. And so but they closed it. And so they announced the closure of their studio before they announced a game in their studio. Here's the problem. This is the same problem with Amazon, Google. They're trying to get into the video game space. So Google says, we're going to make this platform, Stadia. Here's what it is. We know what Stadia is. But on top of that, simultaneously are trying to create a video game. They all think it's so easy to make a video game, I think. And then they get there and they're like, all right, guys, what are we making? And no one knows what they're going to make. And the question is, what games are making money right now? Well, what's making money? Oh, you want to make League of Legends is popular. Want to make one of those? They're like, sure. What's League of Legends, right? They start from the end point. They're like, let's make a studio and hire a bunch of people. Do we even have any projects? Do we even have I feel like they just do this backwards when they should have focused on Stadia, made that a success, and then said, hey, we're gonna make a game for it. But no.
So now they've closed the studio.
And the thing is you gotta with Google, you've got to get all of their proprietary goodies in there. Like you've got to cram every system and every new thing, every tool and feature that Google's built, every cloud service, whatever, who's it, into this game to the point that you're like, oh, well, this isn't like a game anymore, is it? It's just like a Google thing. It's like a Google
What's your
demo.
Gmail account? Wait, why?
But it's like a hip character asking you that. Hey man,
Hey,
what's
bro.
your Gmail account? Fill it in below. It's so punk. So here's my question. If we figure out the name of any of the projects or games that they were working on, we absolutely can nominate them for worst launch, or can we actually nominate SG&E itself for a worst launch blursty? If you never actually shipped a game before your studio closed and you had 150 developers and God knows how many millions of dollars in time and resources, I mean,
Dude, they
sounds
didn't
like a
even
blurst launch to
announce
me.
the game. They didn't even announce it, let alone ship it. They never even talked about what they were working on before they closed. That's
Dude.
pretty bad.
Google and Amazon are legit 20 years behind Microsoft right now on this shit, and they're like going backwards. They're like not catching up. They're like actively going backwards in terms of like their understanding of the market, of the industry. How about just like their name recognition and what their brand means to gamers? All of this is going like full on fucking backward right now.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
I don't know, man.
Drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the bucket, and that's the real thing. They don't care. Losing millions, whatever. They'll just sell more ads to my Gmail account.
Just sell a bunch more ads. You get Gmail ads? Oh, that's good. That's exactly what you want. Okay, so let's move on.
Kudos.
All right, kudos is our positivity segment. We like to give a shout out to something that's making us very happy. And it's the thing that's making me happy, you guys, is this thing I've been meaning to do.
Simple things.
You know these things you see on the internet, like dumb GIFs that they sum it up so quickly, and you're like, ugh, oh, I'm so sick of seeing fucking cooking GIFs that make everything look so simple, and then you do it, and it's like a nightmarish mess on your countertop. Well, the one I saw that made me, I didn't roll my eyes. I thought, oh, that's an okay idea, but I just didn't care because I was like, I have a microwave. Have you guys ever used a frying pan to reheat leftover pizza?
Yeah.
No,
It's amazing.
I do my toaster oven.
My toaster oven's probably a good
Toaster
idea.
oven would probably be just as good.
Yeah, I've heard it. So the two options I heard, because they're like, don't do it in a microwave, it ruins it. And I'm like, oh, fuck you, as I put it in the microwave. I'm reading these articles as my pizza's
Real
microwaving.
hoity-toity. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to cook it in something that doesn't have buttons on it? Asshole. So I decided, I don't know, on a lark, probably because it was Papa John's and it's just like soggy as hell. It's like, I'll do this. So I dropped the pizza in 2 slices in a stainless steel frying pan, let it cook uncovered for like 2-3 minutes. And then I pour in just like, I don't know, a finger of water.
Cup of water.
Not even like a
Cup and a
eighth
half.
of a cup.
Just kidding.
8 cups of salt. You pour in just like a tiny amount of water and then you cover it. And guys, legit, it steams the top, it steams the cheese, makes everything so nice and melty on the top, and the bottom has a better crust than when I got the pizza fresh out of the
crunchy.
box. It was mind-blowing. I like legit want to just go buy pizza and then just throw it in the fridge and eat it later. Like, oh, I'll
Trent
cook it right
style?
later. No, Trent doesn't cook it. Trent goes, guys, you didn't know this. Trent will go to Little Caesars and buy pizzas, take them straight home and put them in the fridge so you can eat them later cold. Yes, we do let a
That's
monster come on this podcast every once in a while.
He is a monster.
Anyone else have kudos?
Aaron, did you have one?
Yeah. So the first 3 episodes of WandaVision weren't really all that amazing. I enjoyed like parts of it, but there wasn't anything really progressing the story in the first 3 episodes. And then this past week, episode 4, basically was the outside looking in, and we got a lot more answers, and it wasn't the same of the first 3 episodes. So if you can hang in there until episode 4, I think it's going to pick up, but we'll see after episode 5. I think there's only 8 episodes maybe total, 8 or 10. So,
Yeah.
but episode 4 was good. I enjoyed it.
Dude, I've only seen episode 1, and I decided I'm going to hold off
Ooh,
and binge
good
it a little harder.
luck avoiding spoilers.
I've been pretty good at avoiding.
That's a
them
long
so far.
spoiler road to go down. I'm so stoked what they're doing with Disney Plus, that streaming is a really, really good platform for these way off kilter comic book stories. Because I remember when I was a kid and there was like a small comic book section at the library. And after I'd read through all like the main ones and all like the normal, that's when I started reading like the graphic novels and the weird ones in the main, with main level superheroes. I'm not talking about like Watchmen or anything, but there were some like weird Batman ones that I read that were like really kind of disturbing and alarming. And then there's some really crazy meta fiction ones that you get into, and you can't explore that in a film. People will walk out. People will be like, that movie sucked. It was first 40 minutes. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But they're playing with it with WandaVision, and I'm here for it. I'm like, do it. Just play around. Have fun with it. I'm digging it. I think it's very confusing but fun.
And you're not paying that much for it. Come on, get off your high horse. You're just paying $6 or whatever it is. It's basically
JD paid for 3 years.
20 cents.
I paid for 3 years in advance, so it's like $3 a month. So, I'm Gucci on Disney Plus. We're friends.
50 cents an episode. Yeah, I think it's okay.
That's worth it.
I have a quick kudos. I've got to do it. I didn't want to talk this. I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to go down the bunny trail. But with all the stuff that's been going on with the GameStop stock, I've got to give kudos to a subreddit called Wall Street Bets. We talked about them a little bit last week, and they've been really the driver of this whole GameStop story, where it's essentially the Reddit community of Wall Street Bets against Wall Street, against the hedge funds. And guys, I got to give them kudos because last week was one of the most entertaining weeks I've had in a full year. The whole week was just so fascinating.
That's why you're so behind at work.
I can't. That's true. That is true. I spent a lot of time reading stories of what was going on, following the subreddit, watching the stock. Guys, it was crazy. The stuff that's still happening is crazy. Like today, every major news outlet has stories saying, oh, the Reddit GME community is now moving on to silver. And that is not true.
It's a lie. Yep.
No one is moving on to silver. I mean, silver has gone up, but the speculation is that this is being driven by the hedge funds are trying to scare people off of GameStop and over to silver so they can get their shorts in still. And they were doing tons of it's a lot of stock stuff, but they were doing ladder trading or something where they were trading 100 shares at a time back and forth. The hedge funds were lowering the price slightly each time. And I'm talking like seconds apart. Bam, 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 back and forth trying to lower the price. And the Wall Street Bets community,
not having
guys, it's not a great community. Like if you go on there, you'll read it and be like, oh my gosh. Like these guys, just some of the language that is used is not typically what you see, but this community is like, this not us, everyone hold, and they are. It's crazy. It's fascinating. They are trying to start a movement. You're seeing people buying GameStop stock worldwide. They're starting this whole thing. Celebrities are jumping in all week. Celebrities jumping in. Celebrities, politicians. It has been So fascinating, so fun to watch. I'm sure you've all seen it because it's everywhere. Even my mom called me and was talking about it. But I got to give them kudos. So kudos to this wacky Wall Street Bets subreddit because they have kept me endlessly entertained for a week now.
I hope it keeps going. I just hope they keep the party going.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys, this, not because there's a ton of good games out right now, because there are not, but we have been playing a crap ton of games, and so we wanted to just bang through a bunch of reviews. We have some first impression roses. We just want to talk about all the games we're playing. So why don't you guys start off? Because this is all you. You guys I think you've got it set up so you can just go one after the other. Like, let's just hear them.
Yep.
What are you
Aaron,
playing?
You kick it off.
So right now, I got sucked into Escape from Tarkov.
You psychopath. You're a real psychopath, Aaron.
Yeah, Peterson started berating me on the Discord. Just like, you are out of your mind. You're just like slamming your head up against a brick wall just over and over again.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not far from the truth, but it's a fun game. So every once in a while they'll do a wipe, and over, I think it was December, they did the most recent wipe. So it's patch 12.9. It's in beta right now. So everybody starts from zero. So if you don't know what Tarkov is a game that's been actually being developed over since 2012. It's like crazy how long it's been going on, but it's gone through various iterations. The main gist of the game is you're in Russia. There's two competing factions, and you're one of the factions, and you get into a game and you're trying to escape from that map. There's about 6 different maps you can load into. What you load into the game as with your equipment is what you will lose if you die.
So you lose like your equipment?
Yeah, so before the game, you outfit your character with weapon, armor.
Is this stuff you've
helmet.
unlocked or something?
No, this is stuff that you purchase with in-game currency at the traders, or what you find from previous. So it's basically kind of it's a looter shooter-ish that's a little bit more hardcore with some battle royale elements as well. So you outfit your weapon, you get a backpack and a rig and body armor and a helmet, and mask, ski mask, or whatever you want, and ammo. So you load into a match, and basically everybody starts from one end, and they have to get to the other end to extract or to exit the map, and then you leave with anything that you've collected, and you gain XP that way also. So if you're on one side of the map, there's going to be another person on the other side of the map trying to cross to extract. So you'll meet at the center point in some part of the map. Not always the case because the maps are pretty large. So you get into a game and you're just trying to find loot. They're in boxes. They're in like loose areas. There's an AI. They're scavs. You shoot them. You can steal their guns and equipment. And you're just trying to load up as much as you can and then get to your extraction and get out. All while not to get shot in the face, basically. The game is very sound dependent. So having a good set of headphones or equipment will make the experience a lot better. So you're sneaking around, and anything that you do in the environment will trigger sound. So if you're messing around with your gun, that'll cause sound that's audible within a certain proximity. If you brush up against trees or grass or whatever, if you walk on gravel versus dirt, grass, metal, wood, it's going to make a different sound, and it's going to travel a certain distance.
Oh my gosh.
So you're trying to avoid that way. Sometimes it's always a good idea to lay down and just to hear what's going on around you. Some people just run through the map and just start shooting, kind of Call of Duty style. But this is very not Call of Duty style whatsoever. The sights that you're aiming down are what your gun has. So there's no reticles, there's no HUD.
That's cool.
Everything is just as realistic as possible. If you get shot, it's going to go through your body armor. Depending on the type of ammo that they have, will penetrate certain types of body armor. If you get shot, you're going to probably have bleeding or any kind of wounds that you need to patch up. So you need to have health kits with you, and you'll do tourniquets and stop heavy bleeding and fractures, stuff that way. So it's as realistic as a video game can get without being too insane. So because
like
it's all
your guy screaming in agony until someone just finally finishes him off once he gets shot once.
Yeah. Yes, your dude will start huffing and puffing and start groaning, and you can hear it. You can hear, oh, I hit a dude, and he's suffering, and he's trying to bandage himself up. So I better go run over and shoot him in the face.
This sounds so stressful.
So, yeah, I recommend playing. If you're going to play this game, I think entry level starts about $40 or $50, and it goes up to about $140. Each level. Each package that you get increases like your stash size and starting equipment that they give you for free. Well, essentially for free, but you're paying for it. Play with another person. It's a better experience for me at least to play with other people because you're watching each other's back. It's not as stressful. You can kind of go in with a little bit more reassurance that you're not going to immediately get shot in the face and lose all the stuff. But if you're really into guns, like you can customize your gun from basically the basic barrel stock, put whatever attachments you want. They have like hundreds of different scopes and all sorts of different mods. It's pretty cool.
Dude, this game seems so stressful for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say all the things you're describing. Oh, it's just like your footprints on different. Oh my god.
This is I've looked at this game so many times because I know it's very popular. You know, I liked PUBG, I liked Arma, so some of those realistic types of shooter games I kind of like. This one though, and I watched some gameplay and I was like, this seems so stressful to me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like sometimes it gets a little much and you're just kind of freaking out. Your heart rate starts skyrocketing. If you have heart problems, do not play this game. If you consult your doctor just before you play this game.
Dude, it says that on the first web page for their.
Does
for
it
their
really?
Website. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
that would be awesome though.
Okay, Peterson, you got to talk about your latest addiction obsession. I got to hear this.
Okay. So, one of my buddies, Stephen Lee, introduced me to a game called Conqueror's Blade. And he talked about it for a solid month before I even looked at it. Because I was like, I went in and looked at it. It's free to play on Steam. And it is, it says action, free to play, massively multiplayer. And you know I'm not in for MMOs. I don't like MMOs. And so I was like, I'm out. And then Steven, kept talking about it. So I said, okay, I'll check it out. And then I was immediately hooked. So Conqueror's Blade is an MMO, but not like you think. It's not heavy on the MMO for the most part. The battles are multiplayer, but here's how they go. You are a hero. You're a character, and you have a dozen different weapon types that you can use. And they all have a different fighting style with different moves and different types of armor you can wear with them. And so you start off, you pick your weapon. The cool thing is you can switch it up as much as you want. Like I've got, I think 7 different weapons. I use one mostly, but you can switch it up whenever, however often you want. But your character, you're controlling your guy, and it's a like a third person view. But you're controlling your guy, and you go into these battles, and this is where the massive multiplayer happens. The battles are, I think the biggest battle you see is like 15 on 15 or something like that. But it plays kind of like For Honor or something like that. You're the hero running in. You're trying to storm the castle. They're trying to.
Are there mobs, or is it
defend
just
the
you
castle
and the other team?
Yes. No. So you join the fight as your hero, but each of you also has armies that you bring with you to the fight. You can bring up to 5. It actually has like leadership. So each different army unit has an amount of leadership that you can't go over. It's like the squires are 250 leadership and I have 700, right? So you're kind of balancing that. But you bring in these armies, these small groups, and you control them as you go. You tell them where to go. You tell them what to do. They've got like a very limited move set, like charging or something like that, right? Or the pikemen will stick their spears in the ground and let people charge into that into a wall of pikes. And so it's a battle. It is a large scale battle. The heroes are in it, and then everyone's controlling their armies, and you're trying to cap points and like control a point and then move on to the next one, and the other team's trying to defend. But if you die, right, if your army dies and you die, you can go back, you respawn, and every time you die, the respawn's a little longer, but you can go back and get one of the other armies you brought with you. You can also bring with you a small war machine, like a cannon or something that you can set up. So if they're like barricaded in there with some crazy shield guys or something, and you can't get past them, set up a cannon, shoot your way through. The battles usually last, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes, and they are so much fun. They're so games like For Honor. What I didn't like about it was the skill gap, because it was hero and hero the whole time mostly, and then some mindless mobs. But I feel like the skill gap isn't so massive in this game because there are so many people and armies and things happening. I've killed people way higher level than me so many times, right? And so the skill gap doesn't come into play as much. There definitely is, and there is like, you're better if you've leveled up more, right? Because you've leveled your guy. Because it's an MMO, so everything has a skill tree. Your armies have skill trees. You have a skill tree. Your horse, your weapons, your armor, right? Everything has customizable options and a skill tree. And then there's this whole other level of the game where you join a clan, or I think it's called a house. You join a house and you do these land wars where you're trying to control different like segments of the map. And man, but the core of the gameplay are these battles where it's a hero, you're a hero, you've got an army, and you just bring them in and do these crazy big battles, and they are so fun. I cannot emphasize enough how fun these battles actually are, because even if you suck, first battle, I got MVP. The first battle I ever did, I got MVP, and it wasn't against NPCs. It was against real people. Anyone can kill anyone. It's just crazy. It's chaotic. It's wild. You've got all this strategy. You're coordinating with your teammates. It's a good game. And so I definitely recommend checking out Conqueror's Blade. I'm like 40 hours into it, and I am still I just want to play. I just want to keep going. It's so good, you guys.
That's awesome.
So good.
So what's the end game?
I don't think since it's an MMO, I don't think there is an end game. I think you just keep leveling up and building, and there's still so many things. So I said I'm 40 hours in, but there are still so many things that I'm trying to figure out. Like, wait, I go into the map, into the overall map, and you wander that, and there's things you do, and like there's so much, but every major house has a Discord community, and they're super active, like posting. They're like, oh, if you have questions, post them here, and people are answering questions. So the community has seemed like really chill. I haven't seen any like raging or any like problems with the community at all. So cool. Yeah, this is a good game. It's very fun. I'm surprised I hadn't heard of it before. It came out in 2019. But man, I'm having a blast with it right now, and I can imagine we'll play it for another 100 hours. So Conqueror's Blade, it's free to play on Steam.
Could you play this if you didn't have like a good crew to play with?
Yeah, you can definitely play it by yourself, and like I said, you'll find it if you want to play with people. Like the house we joined was just some random house, right? Just like a clan,
Yeah.
right? On their Discord, every night I see people, just groups of people grouped up in there, just playing together. Yeah, right now I see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the Discord channel playing together. And they're always asking if more people want to join them because they're, the more you coordinate with, the better. So,
Dude,
that's cool.
It's a lot of fun. So, Conqueror's Blade, seriously, check it out.
Okay, Aaron, back to you.
Oh snap!
Oh snap! You're playing another one.
Yeah. So Everspace 2. I never played Everspace 1, so I don't know much about it. All I know is it was kind of it was a space arcadey type game. So Everspace 2 kind of drew my attention because I kind of like those types of games that are flying around shooting stuff. This one obviously updated graphics, and it's a little bit more RPG-ish than Everspace 1 was supposedly. And but you don't need a joystick or anything. It's not a simulation game. It's more of an arcade, flying and shooting stuff. So it's kind of more of a first impression rose. I don't have that much time in the game. I'm having a little hard time getting into it, kind of getting, I don't know, sinking my teeth into it. I don't know. It's very flat right now. There's not a whole lot of depth, but I can see where it's going. It's still in early access. It's not fully released. It is cheaper now than what it will be at launch. I think it's $40 now. I think it's geared to be $50 or $60 at launch. So basically, you're a guy with a ship, and you can level up. You shoot enemies down. You get their loot. And you sell those at various trader posts to get money. So if you want to just kind of do like money runs, you can kind of just go kill a bunch of stuff or mine and sell that stuff at the market. But you're going to be getting missions from various people to do those to get money. So there's a story progression that you're kind of going through. But the story doesn't seem all that deep or interesting. It's just like, hey, go to this area and
fly in and shoot stuff.
Fix the radar station. That's like I'm in a ship. What do you want me to fix? It's just really kind of weird. But it's fine. I don't know. I can. You're supposed to be able to get better ships and upgrade. You can upgrade weapons. You have like a primary and a secondary weapon and a bunch of different other stuff to help you during combat. And there's like an ultimate skill. But like the combat's super fun. It's kind of hard right now. Like I'm pretty weak and I get killed pretty
easily. Is it
easily.
against other people or is it?
No, it's purely single player only.
Oh,
there's
wow.
no multiplayer whatsoever.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I don't think there's plans to make it
That's tight.
multiplayer.
Make it a multiplayer game. Yeah, it looks interesting. The graphics look good.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah,
it looks really good. It's a flying spaceship shooting game.
So yeah, I think it's worth it if you like those types of games. I'm just having a hard time getting into it, but I enjoy it. It's fine for what it is.
And it just came out. It just came out like
2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. So, interesting. It is early access, so theoretically it'll only get better from here.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one I think to keep your eye on if you like a flying game.
Yeah, and it like some simulation games, kind of like Elite Dangerous, are too simulation. Like it takes hours just to get from one place to another. This is very much like you just boot up, you do your FTL drive, whatever, to the next area. Like 10 seconds later, you're there. So it's pretty cool.
That's super tight.
Awesome. Well, let's we still have one other segment that I want to get to. So let's save my other one. Let's save it for next time.
Cool.
Yep.
So let me introduce this next thing that I wanted to talk about. because I realized I've been playing, and I'll talk more about this later, but I've been playing Fenyx Immortals Rising, or Immortals Fenyx. Don't get me started on the name. But
It was so much cooler when it was Gods and
Gods
Monsters.
and Monsters. Come on, it's descriptive,
It's just so much
it's
better.
distinctive, it's cool. Gods and Monsters 2 sounds a lot better than Immortals Fenyx Rising, whatever they're gonna call it. Yeah, is Immortals the actual like series? Is that what they're gonna stick with? They're gonna call it Fenyx Rising because after she's already risen once, is she gonna do it again? Told you not to get me started. But what's really neat about this game is that it is a Zelda Breath of the Wild like game. It's an open world exploration puzzle adventure game. And one thing I've realized I caught myself doing in this game a lot, because I've been playing it a lot the last couple days, is essentially I am playtesting this game, you guys. Like, I'm not doing things for the sake of the mission or for completing the game or necessarily because they're even that fun. But I'm just like, I got to see if I can do this. Ooh, can you do that? Can you do this? I don't even know, like I said, if it's that fun for me, but it's just like something that I do. And so I wanted to ask you guys, because I think we all do this by ourselves. And if you listeners have them, like, feel free to jump into our Discord and sound off, because I would love to hear how you guys play test games unintentionally, just because you're curious about what they do. So I would like to.
What are the limits? What can you do? What can't you do?
What are your guys' play tests? What kind of tests do you conduct on games that you play?
I can tell you one of the first ones that I do, and I think a lot of these go for like open world types of games where the boundaries aren't so strict, right? But in a lot of open world games, especially multiplayer ones, one of the first things I do is see who and what I can shoot. So if I'm playing with like other people, with my friends, it's always like
they might die.
you're looking at them and you're like, I wonder if there's
Rainbow
team
Six
damage.
Siege
And you just point your
did
gun
not
at him
go
and you're
well
like,
for us the first time we played it.
yeah, dude.
Because
is there team kills in there?
Yes.
and then like
Yes.
you get booted essentially the second you team kill someone. So it was like Peterson shot one of our teammates, and it was like Peterson has been kicked from the match, and we're like down. We're down one person in the first game of 3. We're like, oh god.
Well, down 2 people technically because I shot.
Oh yeah, because one of them was dead. So that.
Yeah, no, that's what I do. Is there team damage? Can I shoot? And it because it does make a huge difference in the game, right? It's like PUBG versus Warzone, right? PUBG was team damage. Warzone had none, and so you could just go bananas, right?
Yeah.
And so, that's one of the first things I always test. And then if you can shoot the NPCs, there's an NPC. You point your gun at him. Is the cursor turn red? Does it gray out, meaning you can't shoot him?
Does your gun
And then if
actually
it's
go
red, you're
down?
like,
Sometimes when you sweep your
Yeah.
gun
Yeah.
over someone, your character will hold it down.
Yeah, your character will lower their gun.
Mhm.
Now, and can you shoot him? If you do shoot them, what happens, right? So just seeing what you can shoot. But also, JD hates this one. Often I'll see what, there'll be like animals in the background.
God.
Well, here's the thing. Like birds will be flying, and you're like, can I shoot a bird
You gotta
down?
shoot all the birds.
If you can. Sometimes it's cool if you can. If JD's around, I'll shoot the dog, but I don't shoot the dog when JD's not around. Just FYI, only when JD's around is a troll move. I'll see if there's like, if there's some other animal, but never the horse. I don't know.
You can kill that horse, so don't bother.
I'd never shoot the horse. I can't do it. So, but yeah, I see what I can shoot. That's one of my first tests.
Aaron, how about you? What game test do you do?
So the first thing that came to mind actually kind of takes me back to when I used to work for a board game company. And I mean, obviously this is kind of off the path, but man, it's so fun playtesting a game and trying to see what the limits are for that game, like you're saying. Trying a very specific strategy and seeing if it works. and it could break the entire game. But it's a fun development process that you need to go through if you're developing a game, or I mean for computer games or video games versus board and card games, that you need to see what the limits are. And so it kind of took me back a little bit, and kind of reminiscing on the days where
Just played board games all day.
just played board games.
You're making me
It
sad
my
now.
hobby was so yeah, it's a fun process, and it kind of reminds me of the level of development that these games need to go through to break the game, because you don't want to launch a game and then have it completely broken because some D-bag did one thing and one thing only and destroyed the game. So a lot of the times for video games, I think RTS games kind of comes to mind of trying something and trying to roll with it to see what I could get away with. Trying a very specific strategy, building only, like I would build only archers, like in Age of Empires 2, because that's just to see. Like
Yeah.
I liked building only archers because I was just, I don't know why.
You get those
archers
English
just were
longbowmen,
cool.
dude. You can do some damage.
It's true. But obviously in RTSs there's always like a rock paper scissors aspect. At least the newer ones. I think the older ones didn't feel that way as much. But stuff is a little bit more balanced.
Aaron still gets PTSD from cavalry charges.
He's just,
Oh god, they're going so fast.
Where's my pikeman? I need my pikeman.
No. Dude, that is. I'm going to jump in though. That kind of reminds me though when you talked about board and card games, because I didn't even think about it in this. I didn't think about card and board games in this scenario. But yeah, dude, the ones that I've broken the most are ones where you make deals, like trade and make deals and stuff with other players. Trying to think up new deals, especially gambly type of deals. So like I would make a deal saying, okay, I'll give you this right now, but for your next 3 turns, if you draw this card, you got to give me every time you draw it. They might draw 3, they might draw none, right? And so you make these gambly deals, and that I've seen that completely destroy the whole game multiple times, right? So making just wacky deals that maybe you wouldn't normally think of. You'd think just like trading straight across, but making some more of those wacky deals, seeing what you can get away with, especially in the rules. Just say, feel free to make deals with other players. You're like, oh, you don't even know what you did.
Yeah. Well, they don't know the value of things. Like if you're playing with a new person, they don't know what this card is going to do for you versus themselves later on during the game. Like, oh yeah, sure, I'll give you a card or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, oh, thank you for like $1 million in your firstborn.
And then you start trading like real world stuff for cards. You're like, okay, listen, I'll give you
Snickers.
$1 if you give. Dude, yeah, completely ruined the experience.
Give me $1. It starts turning into like a meta poker game or whatever.
Yes,
that's
what I want.
I mentioned this already, but I am way into testing open world games. I want to see how truly open they are. I have a few distinct memories, like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Like most Grand Theft Auto games took place entirely on an island. But you could get in a jet and just fly it out there. And I remember one afternoon just flying the jet for like 15 minutes. And you could see like the map was so far away from you. And then I just turfed it right into the water. And I just went for a swim in the water to see like what because there was like fish and everything that generated out there. It spawned for whatever reason. I don't know. To this day, I don't know like how they handled it when you flew that far outside the map in San Andreas, whether they just randomly generated textures. But that was so cool to me to just be like, it just kind of goes on forever. Fallout 3, I felt that way until I ran into a literal invisible wall. I don't appreciate those as much, but everything can't be an island. And then sometimes there's just in Fallout 3, it's a hard invisible wall that tells you can't go any farther. Fallout New Vegas had a ton of invisible walls that didn't inform you they were invisible. So I'd spend like 10 minutes trying to like glitch jump up a hill, and then I get to the top of the hill and it'd be like, oh no, like there's a hard invisible wall here. And I'm like, what the fuck?
You can't go in.
And it's in the middle of the map, so it's not like it's not like the border walls that they put up. Like it was just there to keep you from going around somewhere. So
dude, after Breath of the Wild, we're so spoiled with that type of stuff. You can go
climb
if it's there,
anywhere.
You can go
climb anything. Yeah. So I love just seeing how far out of the map I can go, or see how big it gets.
I had the same one. Where can I go? What can I jump on? What can I walk on? I'm in the city. Can I get on the roof? Like when I'm playing Conqueror's Blade. I last night was trying to take my horse onto a roof of a building just to see if I could. I got onto one roof, but I couldn't get any higher than that.
But now you know how many roofs you can get onto with your horse.
Yeah. Where can I go? Where can't I go? Yep. Yeah, I do the same thing.
I like to climb to the tallest thing I could find and jump off.
Ooh.
Dude, I wrote that one down. Is there fall damage?
Fall damage
that's
immediately.
Another one of the first things. You're like on a cliff. I don't know what the compulsion is. You're on a cliff and you're like, I'm gonna jump off this, and then you try. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you jump and like it won't let your character invisible wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Won't let you go any further. And sometimes you're just gonna fall off the cliff and you're dead.
For whatever reason, it always gives me the willies too when I jump off.
I'm trying to figure it out. I have the insanely rare occasion in Immortals Fenyx Rising to both test the fall damage without taking fall damage. I jumped off a big old cliff or something, and at this point in the game, I had a double jump. And if you guys ever play around with a double jump where you can just basically jump off anything and then you hit the second jump right before you hit the ground.
Right before? Yeah.
So that's my trick. I was like, so I was falling and my character, and I was like, we'll see if there's fall damage. My character started panicking, rolling down the windows and everything, just like, oh my God. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I can safely guess she's probably going to take fall damage. So I was able to do the double jump, keep her from, hurting yourself, and I was like, hey, I gotta test it, and no one got hurt. Wow.
But now, JD, can you get hurt from fall damage?
I don't know.
You didn't answer the question, JD. You got to do it.
I've got to find
JD tonight.
Out. No, trust me,
Tonight,
I've ran out of stamina climbing enough cliffs to know, oh, I take fucking fall damage, Peterson. Oh, I take fall damage, trust me. The other one that I had that I kind of already alluded to was climbing mountains that I have no business climbing for no damn reason. Okay, Skyrim, right? That big mountain in the middle, and you can just go around it to get to any of the cities that are on any of the sides of it, but you're not going to go around it because you look at the little compass.
It's right there.
And it's right there. It's right in front of you. Just walk straight, you dumb shit. I'm like, oh, there's a mountain there. I'm like, well, then go over it. Quit bitching. And so you're like mashing jump and like flexing the joystick in every single direction to see if you can get your character to go up like half an inch on the screen. And you're like,
glitch up on some little
I spent
ledge
45
thing.
minutes jumping up this mountain, and now I've hit like a hard point where I can't go up anymore. And you're like, oh, that's okay. I'll just fast travel and walk around.
I'm just going to log out for the night.
Are you kidding me?
No, that was and I think I've told you this before. When I played Morrowind, I gotten my crafting or whatever enchanting up so high, I made a dagger. I made a dagger that when I swung it, it made me levitate for like a full minute. And I flew over the mountain just to see if I could.
Yep.
And it wasn't like flying. You're like slowly levitating, slowly moving, and not very fast. But every minute or so, I'd just whip the dagger out. And, of course, the pterodactyl things that attacked me, and I'd be shooting them with my bow. And then I'd whip the dagger out, swing it one time, and then switch back over. Dude, it's the same. You got to see if you can get there.
Seems like it would take forever.
Yeah, no, it was very slow. Well, actually, I think in the long run it was faster because the fast travel in that game, you couldn't do it from anywhere. There were like it was like a taxi service type of thing. You'd have to go to a thing and fast travel to a specific place, and so it was faster a lot of the time just to try to fly over the mountain. The other one I test always, if and this goes back to something we already talked about. Can I leave footprints or bullet holes? How long do they stay? And if they stay for longer than 15, 20 seconds, I'm drawing a penis.
Do TTP testing. Everyone needs
I don't
to do
know
it.
what else to draw. Maybe gaming has like wired my brain this way now, but I don't know
Draw
what
your
else
name
to
or
make. That's not as good. Like, I don't want to write John on there. I'm just gonna draw penis instead, and see if I can finish the full peen before
you could never do it on GoldenEye. With the paintballs, you could never shoot enough paintballs to finish a peen.
No,
unless you were just drawing micro
blade,
peens.
I can't do it either. I can't do it.
Which just looks like a snowman.
It's just not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, I always see if you can see how long they stay. If they stay, draw a peen. I don't know.
My last one is I always shoot all the glass and all the water. Got to see the water physics
if it does something
with the bullets, and then I got to see how much of the glass I can shoot. There have been a few games, I think recent Gears of War games have had really good glass where if like pieces of it fall apart instead of like that it's very specific to where it's localized to where your bullet's hitting instead of it just generally breaking. So yeah, I always appreciate good glass physics.
Yeah, destructible environments, I think, is always something to test.
Yep,
Ooh,
I had that one on the list.
That's
too.
dude. I just had a huge flashback to the first time I had played Pokemon, and when you get that move cut, it allows you to cut down bushes to get through different areas, but it also has the side effect of letting you cut down tall grass, which is where the Pokemon live, and you can clear all the. And I remember when I got that the first time as a kid, I cleared all the tall grass in an area, and then for a moment I was like, there'll be no Pokemon here. It'll have to grow back, but it just immediately refreshes like the second you live.
Yeah. That's the other thing. What's the refresh rate on stuff? If I don't pick something up, how long is it going to be on the ground? Right? Can I come back? Can I leave for a while and come back and it's still sitting there? Is my basement full of bones? How long are they going to stay? Is there a limit for how much stuff will persist in the world? And so that's another one that I test, often not on purpose, until I get to that point, and then I'm like actually doing a test, because I'll leave something on the ground, run away, come back. Is it still there? If it is, like in Undermine, the first time I was playing it, I didn't need to heal, and there was food on the ground, and I was like,
what am I going to do with this?
I wonder if I leave this, is it going to stay? Yeah. And it did, right? It did, but you can't go back once you leave the level. But once you're on that level, it'll stay there the whole time. So testing the object permanence is another big thing that I do in lots of different types of games.
Cool. Do you guys have any more?
I think that's all of them.
Okay, well then that means spin my favorite clip.
Oh my god, the first impression rose.
You guys, I have a first impression rose. I just have one. I have a game that's really stuck out to me, and it's just really meant a lot to me to be able to spend some time with this game. And that game is Immortals Fenyx Rising. Duh! Gets my first impression rose tonight.
Okay, they don't say duh on The Bachelor, JD.
Chad does.
No one says that. Every Chad.
Who was Chad's friend, the Canadian guy? That guy said duh. That guy fucking said duh.
He definitely did. You're right. Mea culpa. Move on, please.
So Fenyx Rising, formerly known as Gods and Monsters, is a Zelda Breath of the Wild-like game. It is alarmingly close to Breath of the Wild. Like a lot of the systems, a lot of the story, a lot of like the core gameplay is like a 1-to-1 lift. And we'll get into this more. Peterson and I wanted to talk about this. At what point a game stops being like a ripoff or a clone, and that actually transforms into a genre. The quickest way to explain this is if you guys remember when Saints Row came out, everyone called it a Grand Theft Auto clone and compared it straight across to Grand Theft Auto. Like, look, it's a complete ripoff. They did this. Grand Theft Auto did that. They did this. Grand Theft Auto did that. But now you see an open world city game. No one invokes GTA because it's its own genre. But I guarantee you most of the core tenets, including missions having little markers on the map and and then the little map telling you where mapping like Google Maps does on the game, all of those things were GTA innovations, but we call them an open world city game. We call them an open world game. So this does feel like it's maybe borderline. Maybe if there's not any more games, this will always be remembered as a Zelda clone, but I don't even care. I'm calling it Fresh Breath of the Wild.
Wow, Fresh Breath of the
Wild. It's everything I loved about Breath of the Wild. I feel like I'm just playing it like I'm seeing like a lovingly crafted homage to Breath of the Wild. The combat's super smooth, the travel, the enemies I think are really, really fun to fight. They're not like overwhelmingly powerful or obnoxious. Lots of Zelda games, not Breath of the Wild necessarily, but some Zelda games kind of get obnoxious with the enemies that are always popping up and they're just kind of spammed on you. This game doesn't feel that way. And if you want to run away from any enemies, they leash really well. So you can just kind of casually run away from any fight you don't want to fight in. The puzzles are dope. They have, again, like, in Zelda where you go down into the the puzzle studios.
Yep.
Oh, Peterson, you sent me this. Oh my god. They have the exact same thing in this. There's these little like puzzle areas where you go solve the puzzles to unlock certain things. A lot of abilities. You have a glide, so you can glide across the whole map, which is dope. You've got a bird that I haven't unlocked all of its abilities. Apparently it helps you fight. Right now, I just thought it was my buddy. I just thought I had a friend bird.
Just had a friend.
No, dude, he's more than that.
Wow.
He's a good friend. So, guys, if you liked Breath of the Wild, it is you should absolutely play this game, and I'll tell you how you can play it without investing a lot because I was delighted by this. I was really over the moon. I know people might be like, I don't want 50 different gaming services I have to pay for. Well, guess what, guys? It's still cheaper than buying a bunch of $60 games each year. I signed up for Ubisoft Plus, I believe is what it's called, for a month. It's basically Ubisoft's version of Game Pass, except for it's shittier because it's only Ubisoft games, and it's $15 a month. Don't mess with my Game Pass. Peterson, does it satisfy our contractual obligations if we just talk shit on other Game Pass competitors?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
They like that.
Perfect.
In fact, they're emailing me right now that they like that.
This is good. Keep JD talking shit on Ubisoft Plus. Ubisoft Plus, however, at $15 made a perfect sense. When I want to play one game, I already set an auto thing on my email that'll reply the email they sent me like, oh, congratulations on your membership. So in 28 days, I get another email that says cancel this. I go cancel the membership, bing, bang, boom. And I got to play a $60 game for $15. And Jenna's playing Assassin's Creed, another $60 game that just released this. Well, I guess it was last month.
Like within the last few months.
So you can play brand new games. If you guys ever are eyeballing a Ubisoft title, go through Ubisoft Plus, which it will always be on Ubisoft Plus. Any new game will always be on there. So what I'm saying is literally never buy a Ubisoft game again. Get Plus for a month or so and play it, beat it. And then guess what? If you want to play it again, well, the next time a Ubisoft game comes out, when you're done with that, you still have Ubisoft Plus, and you go play that old game again. I think it's cool. I think I would much rather pay, even if I say stayed on Ubisoft Plus, $20 a month is probably still cheaper than even one game every 2 months. If you're buying 6 games a year, that's still more at full price than Ubisoft Plus and Xbox Game Pass for a year.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think explore those streaming things, explore those opportunities, because you can get some cheap games. And because I paid so little for this game, oh my god, do I feel like I'm getting a lot of value for it? Like a lot of value for $15.
You like it even more.
And Jenna's playing Assassin's Creed. We're just devouring Ubisoft content, and Ubisoft's like, I think we're getting fucked over here, guys. These games are supposed to cost $60, not $15.
They're really sweating, hoping you don't cancel your subscription.
Well, yeah, because so both of those games alone, just playing those, having them for the whole year. If we took a whole year to beat them, we bought them at full price, it would be essentially $10 a month. If we bought those games $60 each, we're looking at $120, so it's $10 a month. So basically we break even with one more game here. So you have Ubisoft for a whole year, and you only need to play 3 new Ubisoft $60 titles. Dude, I think it's a screaming deal. So, first impression, Rose, Fenyx Rising with a single petal going to Ubisoft Plus. Don't get full of yourself, Ubisoft Plus. I'm still sending your bitch ass home in a month. Okay. Oh, before we move on to our last segment, guys, I don't know if you've been keeping track, but we are coming up on episode 200. This is episode 199. Huge milestone for the show. It'll actually be it's I don't know. It's just crazy that we've been doing this for so long, and so we wanted to reach out to you guys, our listeners, whether you're a new fan or a lifelong fan. We would love to hear your favorite 3-bit moments, or just, what you've enjoyed about listening to the show over these past couple of 4 years, Peterson.
I don't even know.
It's going to be 4 years in March, man. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, please call and leave us a voicemail. You can find a voicemail button. If you're on your phone, you go to 3bitgamershow.com. Otherwise, or I guess you can go on your phone or on your computer, just 3bitgamershow.com. There's a big button that says leave a voicemail, and it will just, call our voicemail line, and you can leave us there. And we'd love to play your thoughts on air next week, because I don't know, we love you guys. We wouldn't do this if we didn't have a bunch of awesome listeners. We just play games together like we used to, but we love having you guys, and we love making you laugh. I think sometimes we make you laugh. So yeah.
Sometimes we make you cry. Sometimes we make you angry. We just like to make you feel things.
Feel so much. Okay. All right. Leave us a voicemail. Do it. Do it now.
Dice of destiny.
Okay. Dice of Destiny is this awesome game we play at the end of every episode. First, we determine who will be rolling the dice of destiny by having them roll. We roll a 6-sided dice, and then we roll a 20-sided dice, which is itself the dice of destiny. It has 20 different game genres assigned to it. And then finally, we roll a 6-sided dice to see how much $60 on down, how much we can spend on that game. Peterson was awarded the Dice of Destiny last week, and he rolled a building game for $20. Peterson, what did you choose? Or did you choose it?
It was a saga. Listen, I'm going to go through this real quickly.
Oh, God.
So I was like, you know what? There's a brand new game out. I want to play it. I want to check it out. It looks interesting. It's not up my alley, but I'm going to try it. It's called Dyson Sphere Program. Just barely came out on the 20th of January. Okay, so I bought it. It's the right price. I bought it. I played it for, 30 minutes, and then requested a refund. But here's the thing. Not because it's a bad game. It's not a game for me. This is a complicated game. If you like games like
Satisfactory.
Yeah, Satisfactory, Factorio, those types of games, you will love this. The controls were my biggest gripe were some of the controls, but everything was smooth. The menus were good. It looked good. like I really thought this is a good product, but it's too hard for me. I just didn't want to put that much brain power into it. And so I was playing it at 30 minutes in, and I was like, I don't think I want to do this. So that's not the game I chose, but I will give it a quick kudos because it's a very good game if you like those types of games, which I know we have a few listeners. I know we have a few Discord folks who really like those. So definitely check that one out. But so then I kind of went back and forth. Well, I want to play Anno 1800 on Ubisoft's platform, but then I saw a game called Kingdoms Reborn. Kingdoms Reborn is right up the alley of what I was looking for in this with this genre, because I played a lot of Banished, and this looks like kind of like Banished. And so I picked up Kingdoms Reborn. It just came out in November of last year. It's got good reviews. It's from an indie developer called Earthshine, which I love supporting an indie dev. And so I picked up Kingdoms Reborn, and I've already started playing it, and I'm excited to give you a review of it next week.
I'm really glad that you chose that because it's something that I actually kind of had my eye on. So I'm excited to hear next week.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, with that does it for us for this evening. To play us out, we have Xcape. Is that Xcape? What is that? Xcape? Peterson, why you spell it like that? It's spelled exactly like escape.
Yeah.
He'll read anything you type on there.
I was just seeing if he would read it.
The music, the OST from Escape from Tarkov. Damn it, Peterson! Okay, I'm going to try it one more time. It's
Escape from Tarkov.
Damn it. It's too late, Peterson.
I knew it.
It's
I knew if I wrote it wrong.
asparagus.
I am on autopilot on the outros. If you guys didn't realize this, clearly my asshole co-host Peterson absolutely realized this. He will read anything you put on the dock.
Yes.
And with some Xcape from TrackNav, the Ost. I'm JD. Shit, where was I?
Now he's completely thrown. I'll do it. So, guys, follow us on social media. Find us on Discord.
Oh, signing off. JD, signing off. Found it. Right there. That's right there on the dot.
Come back around.
So yeah, follow us. Leave us a voicemail. Thank you.
Seriously,
for
leave us a
listening.
voicemail.
I don't know how to do the sign off. You always do it.
Say, I'm JD signing off.
I'm JD.
This is Peterson going AFK.
Aaron rolling out.
Peterson Productions. Oh yeah.
Peterson, did you make this image you sent me? You fucking send me this shit in the middle of the episode. You are killing me. That has to be the episode picture. Don't explain it. Just put this guy and maybe broccoli in there somewhere. Just like a piece of broccoli on top. And it just says, duh. And everyone's like, what the fuck? What was his name?
His name is Daniel. Daniel.
I would have never guessed that in a million years. Daniel.
Aaron, just in case you're curious.
How did you find that so
he
fast?
Talked about. Dude, just so I made him that image.
The
Canadian guy on The Bachelor.
Dude, Aaron, this is the best. This is the best thing that ever happened on The Bachelor.